The internet, in its vastness, has always been a breeding ground for the unexpected. Out of the chaotic digital soup of the early 2000s, from the depths of the infamous image board 4chan, a strange entity emerged. It wasn't a structured organization, nor was it a group with a defined hierarchy. It was a loose collective of anonymous individuals brought together by a shared love of internet culture and a penchant for mischief. They called themselves Anonymous. In the anarchic digital playground of 4chan, anonymity was paramount. It was a space where users could be anyone and anything, shedding their real-world identities to embrace the freedom of the digital mask. With no real names to bind them, no faces to identify them, these anonymous users were free to indulge in the most outrageous and often juvenile pranks. They were trolls, tricksters and internet jesters, reveling in the chaos they created in the online world. This anonymity, however, was more than just a shield. It was a breeding ground for a different kind of power, a power that stemmed not from individual identity, but from the collective will of thousands, all hidden behind the safety of their keyboards. It was the power of the swarm, a digital hive mind capable of incredible feats of coordination and disruption. Little did the world know that this ragtag band of digital pranksters would evolve into something far more significant. Their chaotic energy, fueled by a potent mix of idealism and outrage, would eventually be channeled towards a higher purpose, transforming Anonymous from internet troublemakers into a force to be reckoned with on the world stage. The early days of Anonymous were marked by a distinct lack of focus. They were like digital kids in a candy store, fascinated by their newfound power and eager to test the limits of what they could achieve. Their pranks were often harmless, driven by a desire to elicit laughter or sow mild confusion. They reveled in the absurdity of the internet, embracing the nonsensical and the surreal. Yet beneath the surface of their seemingly frivolous actions, a current of discontent was beginning to stir. The same anonymity that allowed for carefree pranking also provided a safe space for voicing dissent. Within the digital echo chambers of 4chan, a growing awareness of social and political injustices began to take root. The collective anger of Anonymous was first directed at what they perceived as abuses of power within the online world itself. They took on internet bullies, exposed hypocrisy within online communities, and challenged attempts to censor or control the free flow of information online. These early acts of digital vigilantism, though often crude and unrefined, hinted at a deeper sense of justice simmering beneath the surface. It was the first spark in a tinderbox of discontent that was about to ignite. The world would soon learn that Anonymous was more than just a group of online pranksters. They were a sleeping giant, and the events of the coming years would awaken them with a vengeance. In 2008, Anonymous found a target that would become a watershed moment in their evolution, the Church of Scientology. It began with the leak of a video featuring Tom Cruise, a prominent Scientologist, extolling the virtues of the controversial religion. The church, known for its aggressive litigation tactics, moved swiftly to scrub the video from the internet. This heavy-handed approach backfired spectacularly. Anonymous, who had long viewed Scientology with suspicion, saw the church's attempt to suppress the video as an assault on internet freedom. They were incensed by what they perceived as censorship and hypocrisy. The gloves came off, and Project Chanology was born. What began as a series of pranks and online attacks quickly escalated into a full-blown digital offensive. Anonymous bombarded Scientology websites with distributed denial-of-service attacks, rendering them inaccessible to the public. They leaked confidential church documents, exposing internal practices and beliefs to the world. The message was clear. Anonymous would not tolerate censorship, and they were willing to bring the full force of their digital arsenal to bear against those who attempted it. But Project Chanology was more than just an online campaign. It marked the first time that Anonymous stepped out of the digital shadows and into the real world. Inspired by the Guy Fawkes mask, a symbol of rebellion popularized by the graphic novel and film, Anonymous members around the world donned the iconic mask and took to the streets. Section 4. A Global Uprising, Anonymous and the Arab Spring. The year 2011 witnessed a seismic shift in the geopolitical landscape. The Arab Spring, a wave of pro-democracy uprisings, swept across the Middle East and North Africa. As citizens rose up against oppressive regimes, demanding freedom and political reform, the world watched with bated breath. In the midst of this historic upheaval, Anonymous found a new cause to champion. Recognizing the internet's power as a tool for organizing and disseminating information, Anonymous threw their weight behind the burgeoning protest movements. They launched Operation Tunisia, targeting the government websites of President Zine El Abidine Ben Ali, who had ruled the country with an iron fist for over 2 decades. Anonymous's tactics proved highly effective. They disrupted government communications, leaked sensitive information, and provided technical support to activists on the ground, helping them circumvent state censorship and spread their message to the world. The success of their efforts in Tunisia emboldened Anonymous, and they soon expanded their operations to other countries engulfed in the Arab Spring. In Egypt, where protests against Hosni Mubarak's regime were reaching a fever pitch, Anonymous targeted the websites of the ruling National Democratic Party, the Ministry of Information, and state-run media outlets. They leaked documents exposing government corruption and brutality, further fueling the flames of discontent. Anonymous's actions, while controversial, undoubtedly played a role in amplifying the voices of dissent and galvanizing international support for the protesters. Section 5. The Price of Anonymity. As Anonymous's profile rose, so too did the scrutiny they faced. Governments around the world, alarmed by the group's ability to disrupt and expose, began to crack down. Law enforcement agencies launched investigations determined to unmask the individuals behind the Guy Fawkes masks and hold them accountable for their actions. The very nature of Anonymous, however, made them an elusive target. With no centralized leadership structure, no official membership roles, and communication primarily taking place in the darkest corners of the internet, tracking them down proved to be a formidable challenge. Despite the difficulties, law enforcement agencies did achieve some victories. In 2012, the FBI arrested several individuals associated with Lulzsec, a splinter group of Anonymous responsible for a series of high-profile hacks. These arrests sent shockwaves through the online world, reminding everyone that anonymity, while a powerful shield, was not impenetrable. The arrests, however, did little to deter Anonymous. If anything, they seemed to embolden the group, reinforcing their belief that they were engaged in a righteous struggle against powerful forces determined to silence dissent. Section 6. A Hydra with many heads. One of the most defining characteristics of Anonymous is its decentralized nature. It operates more like a fluid network of individuals with shared ideals rather than a hierarchical organization. This lack of a central command structure has been both a strength and a weakness for the group. On the one hand, it makes Anonymous incredibly resilient. There is no single leader to target, no central hub that can be taken down to cripple the entire operation. Like a hydra, cutting off one head simply leads to two more growing in its place. This decentralized structure also allows Anonymous to be incredibly agile and responsive. Operations can be launched quickly, often in response to breaking news events or perceived injustices. This fluidity makes it difficult for law enforcement agencies to anticipate or counter their actions. However, this lack of central coordination also has its drawbacks. It can lead to a lack of focus and consistency in their actions. Operations can be launched haphazardly, without clear goals or strategies. This can undermine the group's credibility and lead to accusations of vigilantism and recklessness.